Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1.
Now I got to ask you some Errol Spence Jr. questions. First of all, how did you link up with Errol Spence? Obviously, you guys are from the same region.
Well, we're from the same area, you know. And what's funny with Errol, I was pro and I would go to the gym to spar with people, and I was working on my defense at the time, so just we had like a lot of little kids, and I said, well, I'll spar with them. And he was one of the guys that just started boxing. I mean, little bitty guy, and I sparred with him and whatever. And it was really good, you know, because I just worked on my defense, not throwing punches back at him. And,
so you were sparring with him?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but he was little, man. So, man, I'm just working, you know, blocking shots, you know. So it wasn't like I'm throwing punches at him, he's throwing punches at me. So from that, I was at a boxing tournament, and his father was there, and we started talking. And we kind of got into a conversation. He asked me, could I help Errol? I said yes, and that was kind of it. Like a month or two later, he brought him by, and we worked. And then from that point, we've been together from that point on.
Oh, wow. Now, on the UK press conference, Kell Brook versus Errol Spence Jr., you brought up something, and I had to do a fact check and go back. You brought up Kell Brook's record
because
earlier.
You thought I was lying.
No, I didn't think you were lying,
just
but
wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I just got to. Well, I want to see the extent of it, and then it actually checks out. Like the guy he turned pro with, he had a ton of losses.
185.
Oh, you know what I'm saying?
180. Well, it was like 185, 190.
How did you know that? Have you known it for a while? Did you have to go do some homework?
It was an article that was printed, and it talked about it. Like, it compared Errol Spence at 21-0 and Kell Brook at 21-0. It put Errol was like 326 wins for his opponents and 69 losses. So that's a phenomenal start. 326 wins and 69 losses. Then Kell Brook is whatever it is, you know. So and I read it. You memorize stuff, you see it, and when the situation presents itself, you just fill in the blanks. You fill in whatever. You know. I don't know how Errol knew that I knew those numbers, but he said what was his record? He looked over at me. I was like, we never talked about this. So like, how did he know I knew? But he knew.
Oh, wow. So, I know you can't give game plan and stuff, but what does Errol bring to the table so he can stay away from the chocolate brownie that Kell Brook has? And also, was there any reservations fighting in the UK?
Well, for one, there was no reservations fighting in the UK. I mean, every fight is tough. Kell Brook's a good fighter. I've always said that. I've never said he wasn't. I just said about the fact that he faced, some opposition that questionable. And wouldn't be in America. You can have that many losses and still be competing. If we have our sanctioning body, make sure you can't have it. So I have to watch what I say about Kell Brook. People really get upset. American fight fans get upset about me talking about Kell Brook's record, so they try to attack me for my record. He's talking about I had 7 losses, 21 fights. He's talking about it. So, but people, that's what it is. But so you have to question the level of opposition. But I mean, other than that, man, he's a good fighter. He won the title fighting
Sean Porter.
And then, he fought Triple G. And he fought Kevin Bizier. He beat some other guys. So we like him. I mean, there's no benefit in fighting fighters that are not eligible or qualified to be champion.
Now, from your professional standpoint, coming down in weight, how hard? Because Errol's he's a big welterweight, but Kell Brook just fought at 160 at middleweight. Yeah. How hard is that process, or is it just a matter of the right attention?
I think that it's hard if you make it hard, if you let it be hard, if you don't follow the regimen that is set out for you, it makes it a little bit more difficult. I was an amateur boxer. I fought heavyweight. I moved down to 165. So that's 180 pounds to 165. So it can be done, right? As a pro, I fought 160 when I turned pro. So it can be done. You have to have a desire, and Kell Brook has to continue to have a desire to make the weight. And I think he can do it. I know he can do it because he's done it before. And it's a little hard as you get a little older, but he can do it.
Definitely. And I got to bring up the steroid allegations about the Errol Spence. Has that something he's always had to deal with, like people throwing little things at? It just, since he's been getting bigger?
Somebody said something. I mean, he's not really getting bigger. I mean, you know.
No, I mean his name. I'm sorry. I should have rephrased that. We're talking about.
Well, I think that, I don't know. I mean, I've been hearing it, and it's kind of funny. I showed him a picture of, they did a face-off with he and Kell Brook, and he had to put a needle behind his ear, and he thought that was real funny, you know what I'm saying? I just say, it looks like Errol Spence is ready, and he had a needle or syringe behind his ear.
Somebody photoshopped?
Yeah, somebody photoshopped. And it was funny, man. So I think you hear what the fans say, you hear what the people say, you do your best not to take it to heart. I mean, he's a very smart, intelligent young man. He's telling me about, don't read media, don't read this, don't read that. So I'm learning from him. Because, you know, you get your heart is in your passion and what you do in your life. And people talk crap about you. So he's like, listen, don't read it. You know, so he tells me this. So I was like, I learned from him. Man. He's 27, I'm 45. But, you know, we've been in this business on this level at the same amount of time. We've been working together. But it's like, don't read it. And I have to listen to him and follow his lead.
Definitely. Now, last question. From Floyd Mayweather to Adrian Broner, Freddie Roach, they're praising Errol Spence Jr. He hasn't had the biggest names. Obviously, his biggest names, Leonard Bundu, Chris Algieri. What do they see in Errol Spence that makes him gifted and that you believe on May 27th will catapult him to the next level?
Well, I think they see his fortitude. They see his hard work ethic. I mean, when Freddie Roach worked with the U.S. Olympic team, he was sparring with Lamont Peterson, Sean Porter, Adrian Broner, and Jorge Linares on a consistent basis. So you see, every one of those guys were #1 in the world. You know, and we talk about, people say, well, sparring is sparring. Yes, it is, but at the same time, that's like going to college, right? So everybody has a T-shirt of the university they attended, right? So what that means is, that was his university. That's what you talk about, your college. That's where you pledge your fraternity, is your college. So he was pledged, and he obviously did a great deal because Freddie Roach talked about him. Floyd sparred with him several rounds. And so he's talking about, because he knows, like, this kid, he's a good fighter. I couldn't break him, I couldn't whatever the case might be. I mean, so everybody's talking about it because they see something in him that they like to see in boxing, is good for boxing, that he's a fighter. He's not trying to be pretty, he's not styling. He's a fighter, he's going in there and fighting. And I think that's what people like to see, or that's what they want to see. The guy was talking about the heavyweight division last night. Well, I said, man, this guy's better in the heavyweight division because he's going to fight. And if you talk about when all the heavyweights with great boxing skills and fought, they went and boom, locked it in. Errol is that guy that's going to lock it in, he's fighting, and that's what people love about him.
Definitely. His body shots are vicious. Is that something he's always had?
Well, we worked on it, man. I grew up with this one guy who had phenomenal body shots. So, I mean, you box and you see different things in the world, and you may take something from this or take something from that. I was the youngest kid on the team boxing, and I had a lot of older brothers, older fighters who I looked up to, my brothers. And this one guy had phenomenal body shots. And you don't see fighters throw body shots anymore. So
yeah, that's something I noticed.
I mean, so I was like, we're going to work on body shots. Did you see? And Errol is a guy who's so intelligent that when he sees that there's an effect, he capitalizes on that effect, right? So if he sees that this hurts you or that jab works, he's going to throw more jabs. If he sees that the body shot, so he capitalized and grew from throwing better, throwing more jabs, throwing more body shots or whatever. Because he sees and he understands in the moment, this is what I need to do to get better, and he does that.
Definitely. Derrick James, I want to appreciate you for your time. I look forward to Saturday, Jermell Charlo versus Charles Hatley on Showtime, and then also your fight May 27th in the UK. Thank you, sir.
So you're the actual guy.